Alright, kiddos, should be into our minute timer to be able to talk now. So, this is NHL19. Thrash just on a thing you just published today. I was trying to think of like the proper way to say that. I don't know when he did the action that was in the video that he just published. But yeah, he's still out there playing, which is great that somebody is that's on YouTube. But he said that there's 2 more weeks left of the series, and I guess I kind of took it as either just not thinking straight or being like somewhat of like an exaggeration, I guess, or whatever, just because it was all about frustration and wanting to be in 20 and stop playing 19 or whatever. And I'm fully on board with that, except that I don't think that I'm going to bother with 20. But 19 is very much dead. But it's not 2 weeks, bro. It's close to 2 weeks. And I guess if you are on PS4 and Xbox, but your all your videos are your PS4 squad or squads, I guess. They're letting you do the second squad for the for the lulls of Hut Warriors with Tim Heen, that you now have 2. What is he, a 95 now? The two free agency Tim Heens under 2 different teams. None of that is meant as criticism. You're still creating content, like new content, in the last 10 days of August. 10 or 11 days. So, solid, appreciate it. Thing is, it's like it's not 2 weeks. Yeah, even if on the PS4 side, you have a pre-order, and whether EA forces you to actually pay money for the game, despite being a game changer for at least 2 years that I know of, and it feels like more. And you've definitely been doing videos for many years. So even if they make you pay, which would seem kind of odd, but if they make you pay, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you've already got your pre-order in line. You probably did it before the July whatever it was. Was that July 6th or 14th or something? To get the 1 extra bonus, which I think was basically like the equivalent of like a World of Shell bag. So fuck that noise, in my opinion. But whatever. Because all the rest of the pre-order stuff, don't tell them, because I feel like they'll back off of this. But as of now, it's listed that offer is good. I should pull it up. Although I don't know if I can, because I don't know if it'll be a blocked scene or whatever in the recording. But it says the start date of the offer, which was like early July, maybe late June at the very earliest. But then it's good through like just like a weird number, like a weird date that like EA and video games, and especially PS4, is not going to exist when that date comes around. It's like I think for some reason it's listed as like January 1st as opposed to like December 31st, which would just make more sense. Just why not go through that whole next year that you're listing? But it's not like It's not like January 1st of 2020. It's like January 1st of like 3000. It's something absurd. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's January 1st of 2030 at the earliest, meaning that it's probably a later date than that is when the offer says it's good for. But then is nice enough to point out the fact that if you actually, if you don't buy the game and open up the game and get your hometown, not your hometown, but your diamond packs in the first month, then what you would have got in the first month just goes away from the offer. So it's like, I think it's basically 6 months worth of those packs that you get, depending on which one of the two upgraded versions of the game it is that you get. Typically, you get twice as many in the in the higher one, the ultimate, as opposed to what you get in the deluxe or whatever. It doesn't matter, because the point is you pay if you have this game right now, you pay the same price for the ultimate as you would have paid as a new person for the deluxe. So I'm not advocating for either. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why anyone would have the deluxe version of 2020. I don't care about like almost any of the numbers of almost anything that EA does anymore. That's not me just being like an EA shit stain. It's me being like it's whatever, and also stats and figures get made up and can be misconstrued by the public, but not appropriated, but they can be made to say whatever they need to say. I would still like to see, on release, prior to even like Black Friday, I would like to see the numbers of deluxe editions that are sold for the deluxe edition full price, because the number should be as close as possible to zero. But I don't care. I buy the regular one, buy the ultimate, be me, don't buy either. Hopefully, I hope to God I don't. And then I can do what I'm going to do in like 20 minutes and switch over to MLB The Show 19, now that it's only 6 months into that game, because that's how long it took my service to get it to me. Nice job, boys. Anyway, over here in NHL 19 for more than 2 weeks, Thrash. I don't think I finished that point because I don't have points usually, and so it becomes difficult to try to finish one when you think you have one. But the dates this year are 9/13. So September. I just used 9. September 13th, 9/13 for the full release. 3 days early access for pre-orders. So 9/10. Just kind of nice, I guess, to not have a thing come out on 9/11 in the United States. And then if you have EA access, it has historically been 3 days early access, but only it's an upper limit max set of 10 hours of early gameplay. And so I got into this a little bit with someone I don't know where, probably in YouTube comments, and not on my YouTube because mine's a fake channel and nobody knows about it. And I'm literally talking into an empty bag at the moment. But I even said, like, they said that it's like 5 days earlier than the 3 day early access. So it's basically like 8 days early. So sorry for the math, but that's like September 5th. And so, yeah, I guess now that I think about it, September 5th is much closer to 2 weeks from today. Still, though, I pointed out to the person that pointed that out, it's 10 hours. So, I mean, it's 10 hours, whether that starts on the 5th, as stated, or if it started on the 8th or the 7th that it normally should have been, because it's normally 3 days and not 5 or whatever. So I guess that would have been the 7th. I think it's, I get either being competitive or wanting to be competitive, and there's obviously a lot more people in that second category. I guess I could technically put myself in that second category. I just don't really care that much. Plus, I'm like so bad that it's such a stretch that it would be like, I don't know what it would be like. It'd be like somebody saying, like, do you feel like being the president of the United States in 2020? And you could be like, sure, but you're not on any ballots, so seems unlikely. Or somebody being like, do you want to lose all your, or as much as is not crazy, like most of your body fat, get down to a BMI of under 5 or whatever, and get super shredded, a little jacked, depending on what you're into or what you think other people would be into. Maybe either go for bulk or go for what I would consider to be a more aesthetically pleasing upgrade in your size. And again, I'd be like, sure, but then when you like point out what would need to be done to do that, and the fact that I have never done any of that stuff, and I have no desire to do it, and I'm probably not going to do it. Even like literally like gun to my head, I'd be like, nah, it's fucking, just kill me, it's fine. So again, it's like, sure, I would take it, but not gonna happen probably. So in that sense, like, would I like to be competitive / good at this game? Sure, but it's like it's a non-zero, but pretty fucking close to zero possibility of that actually happening. So, on to the heart of the matter here. We're looking at Bernie Parent, or parent, I guess, if you want to go super American on him here. Yeah, why are we looking at a 90 overall Parent alumni card that you can see in the bottom was issued today, and the game calls today, tomorrow usually, but we haven't had the reset, so that today is actually today. Hey, someone is in the room. If you're logged into YouTube, feel free to comment. We're looking at this Bernie Parent 90 overall alumni that we just ripped. You can see on the bottom there, date issued August 21st. We just got this. Now, where did this come from? This came from the latest version of HutChamp. I had one of my best ever, about 17 my rank, but it doesn't matter because anything 500 plus, all you gotta do is just play the required number of games, which I think is, and you get the same thing that I got, which is the Platinum Player Pack. That's what this is. And this 90 overall alumni parent card came in there, and you can see the rest of the cards that came in there. You'll notice, if you follow these things, that there's at least 3 that I spot instantly. At least 4 of those cards have like have 90 plus versions of them in typically in free agency now. That we did not get, like not just Couturier, who's got multiple 99s in the game, including his Evo, but also also others, up to and including Lundqvist and Eves and the rest. So it's whatever. I mean, these cards are meant for trade-in, so I can try to rip a gold rare something or other from those, or the gold commons I can maybe try to sell for coins, since when I need to fill them for the reroll, they're always way too expensive in my opinion, for not just for August 21st, but even for like June 21st. But anyway, we got this 90 overall Parent, and I think that maybe I'm way off on this. Let's think about this for a second here. Yeah, his base is 87, so yeah, his tier 2 would be 88. And I was pretty sure that his legend was like a 91, maybe 92. So this makes sense. This is the highest level alumni for Bernie, and I mean, I'm not feeling the burn here. It's cool, I guess, because without getting super specific and wasting too much time here, this 90 overall rating qualifies as one of the top polls of the year for me, and is probably like at least if I need to qualify it a little bit, but it's going to be like a top 10 overall poll as far as overall rating in packs that are not gold rare rerolls, because I've managed to rip a few crazy ones of those of late. mostly, and those are also untradeable. So I kind of feel like generally, if I got this same exact card in an untradeable format, it has some less value because I could just quick sell it for 1,500 coins at a minimum in a month's time when no one is playing anymore, and there's no point in having the card. And you just do scorched earth to your entire collection. And it would also have to exclude, more supposedly more valuable, certainly more costly in terms of either coins or points, but that you can also, get through events and stuff like that. But then again, the ones that are, gifts for grind are typically also, again, untradeable cards and items that you get in those packs. Like at the moment, the extreme free agency packs that I guess are going to go the final 3 months of the season up in the store and are not going to have anything new, and that suggests that there won't be anything that will get dropped when those end, which is after NHL20 has officially begun. So it seems to be that's the store is the store for now, and then those free agency packs do have a time limit on them. I personally feel, especially. Okay, well that was loud on my end, so I'm going to switch to displaying messages so that I don't have to hear it super loud. Hey Smith, yo to you as well. Feel free to comment on anything I've said. If you're the only person that came in here when it said 1 up on the top, I assumed, and you're gone. Or are you gone? I don't know. This thing is always weird. It always says that a person is not in the room anymore when they sometimes are. But if you're still here, feel free to comment on anything I've said, because I just kind of assumed that you were not in the room anymore, because I wasn't on this screen here. Yeah, so I wouldn't, in the qualification of top 10, I wouldn't count any of the quote-unquote special packs. So currently these free agency packs, before that the draft packs, which I believe I completely missed on, except for the free ones that they gave us. Before that, I don't even fucking know what they were. And then going back, so somebody's back in the room. If you are Smith, feel free to comment. And then, going back to like Evo packs, and then the ones that they did for the holidays, so for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. Those to me would be more special packs, and they were supposed to come with higher probabilities of quote-unquote good cards. So having pulled anything of value there, whether it be like an Evo that didn't have a 90 at the time that I got it, but certainly now is in most every case is a 99. I would exclude that from this qualification and just say, like, I mean, this is a platinum player pack, which sounds like you get awesome stuff in it, but I usually don't. Like, usually for me, the Couturier would be the highest overall card that I would have got in this pack, and then I just kind of generally hope for like the gold commons and silver rares just from trading in values, because again, stands to reason it would take 5 bronze to make a silver common, it takes 5 silver commons to make a silver rare, it takes 5 silver rares to make a gold common, and then you can turn those 5 gold commons into a gold rare, and the gold common that you turn in from the silver rares and the gold rare that you turn in from the gold commons all untradeable. So you're, generally speaking, just kind of wasting at this point, because you can get lucky like I did last week. And why can't, what's wrong with my fucking throat? Let me get a little swig of water here. You can't currently, but it's assuming they're going to drop at least one more super awesome card before the end of the year. You can't get super lucky like I did last week and do a gold rare reroll pack and rip the plays of the year Barkov. My God, I mean, for me, the card doesn't play as well as I would kind of expect it to, especially considering I've got plenty of other 99s on my team. My front six are all 99, and I've got others as well that aren't even in the top six, and only a few of those are kind of like pure 99s. I really like my choice of the free agency Howard Chuck and Kanoye, 8 hours on one and like 6 hours on the other on broadcasts, because I really felt like I was gonna make an improper choice, and based on like coin/resale value compared to cost to create, even though a lot of the things that I was turning in on the collectibles were untradeable and therefore like you gotta do something with them, right? It feels like it was probably skewed in the other direction. Like I think the cost was greater than, either the benefit or certainly the value if I were to try to turn around and sell those in the marketplace. But I really like those two cards specifically, and they're both pretty close to quote-unquote pure 99s. They're absolutely end-game 99s, and like the Kanoye has the whole left side. There's those three. I mean, it's not gonna show you. Oops. I gotta just make sure I don't quick sell this. It looks a little different on the goalie ones, but I'm doing this whole thing to point out Bernie. So like the Kanoye, the whole left side is 99s, and they've got a lot more than just 6 things on the left side of theirs for the position players. Like you can see here, a lot more on the left side. Like you see here, Grossman, he's got balance at 81 is his highest, and speed is 81 as well. Acceleration is slightly less at 80. So those are his 3 best. Kanoye, every single thing there, acceleration, agility, balance, all the way down, including all of the shot stats, are all 99. Super solid. And then his handles are 99 as well. His checking, obviously, and defense, considering his size, are not pure 99s, but it's fine. Howard Chuck comes in with one or two things on the left side are not 99. He might be like a 98 in like wrist shot power maybe, but the synergies boost it to 99 anyways. And then his endurance is not 99 like Kanoye's is, which is awesome because endurance is a big factor for me at this stage in the game, even though I play like a game or two a day max. Not even that much, honestly. I play less than that. I certainly play less than 7 games a week at this point. So, but endurance is a factor for sure, and that's Howard Chuck. And then he's solid on the other 3 handles, checking, and defense, as opposed to Roadrunner, who, as I mentioned, is a little lacking on the body, being as small as he is. But those 2 cards play, and it looks like Smith has probably left us, so I don't need to stay on that screen anymore until somebody comments and it goes super loud again. Those are not technically pure 99s, but they're pretty fucking close. They're certainly end game, and they're exceptionally better, at least as far as their card stats, than a lot of the 99s in the game. Plus they got +2 synergy in 5 different categories, enough of them being in the team-based synergies that they're super solid. If you could have an entire team of cards like that, you'd almost make a player like me, who's fucking atrocious at the game, seem like they almost are capable of doing one good thing in a series of like 10 total games. Wouldn't happen, but it'd be possible. But the Barkov, man, is a pure 99, as are the plays of the year Sidney Crosby, that you'd have to drop, if you get lucky, 1.5, but up to 2.5 million coins if you want to buy those the 3 Crosbys that I've seen up on the marketplace. And then there's one other plays of the year that's been up on the marketplace. Probably, whose would it have been? Would it have been like a Philip Forsberg? I don't know. I feel like it'd be like it was like a player like that. Clearly the person got it and was like, I don't care that they're all 99. Like, this doesn't fit on my team, or I can probably convince somebody to give me a bunch of coins for this, so I'm going to sell it. The Barkov, even with like a couple weeks left, apparently, according to Thrash, I don't really have the intention of selling it for any amount, because it's not possible to have a better card, outside of like the things that can't be changed, like height, weight, handedness. Those are the main things, I guess. Synergies can be a factor in determining, for you and your play style, to compare one set of pure 99s versus another one. But I don't know. It's whatever. The Barkov just looks so fucking phenomenal. Plus, it's just fun to have it pop up when you're loading the game, honestly. Because it just the card itself looks that much cooler compared to cards like these that we've had all year. And you get like an interesting kind of color on a background of one of these shitty cards. And you're like, oh no, it's not. Like you think it's like a free agent Philip Zadina, and instead it's like the silver common version of his card. Anyway, back to the point. The Barkov is just awesome, but it's not as good. It's awesome. It's the best card I have, clearly. It doesn't play the best. I have 5 99s that play better. Just off the top of my head, Modano, Sakic, probably the Rangers Messier, but I wouldn't have said that about the Canucks Messier, and that might seem strange, but it is a boost. And when you're comparing it to a pure 99, it's tough to do. But probably Messier, but for sure Modano and Sakic, and I would toss in Howard-Chuck and Kanoye as well. And even like occasionally like the JT Compher and others at times at least show some flashes of more value to me than the Barkov is. And maybe it's just that I don't know how to play with the Barkov, based on his play style, his height, weight, his size, his handedness, which was just a left-handed shot. So it's not like that's a new thing for me. Most of my team has been left-handed throughout the year. It's been kind of a struggle for me to settle on right-handed shot players that are capable of continuing to make the team as it goes up in rating, as well as synergy and yada yada yada. You get the point. Having said all that, this card here, the Bernie, is top 10 overall pulls for the entire year. Now that we're into and past the 11th month of the game, for me, top 10 pulls of the year in let's call them standard packs. Sure, Platinum Player is supposed to be like a slight bump up from the gold packs, and I can't equivocate the difference between a Platinum Player pack and a Gold Plus pack. I guess it's kind of better that one is nothing but players, so you don't get kind of screwed with consumables, especially if they're going to be in an untradeable format. But it's whatever. It's not a great pack. Like if I don't know. Like if you were to, there's lots of things that I would do differently this year. If I were to able to restart and go back to 9/11 of 2018 and start new. Part of that would probably be not buying it in the first place, and also not even bothering to buy the PS4 Pro that I bought just before buying this game. All poor choices, in my opinion. But given that I had already made those choices, and now it's 9/11, and now I got to play, and now I have all the information that I have now about the game. Not even talking about being able to, time the market and be able to jump in and grab the Gabriel Bork and the Mike Smith, the day before those 78 overall cards went from being basically the same exact value as every other gold common, which was mostly nothing at the time, to not being able to get them for less than 30 to 40K because of the special event that dropped when most of us couldn't even get into the game. We got locked out from the servers after and during when they had dropped that event. So only a very small number of people who were still in Hut and did not get booted, because I was in Hut and I got booted. So I'm not one of those. Plus I don't think I would have had the coins. I could have got like a couple, but I wouldn't have been able to buy out the market like some people did. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about like, oh, there's this weird event that's going to drop tomorrow, and there's stuff on the marketplace right now that's going for next to nothing, that tomorrow is going to be, worth a gold foil Wayne Gretzky. So not even absurd stuff like that. Just generally like, okay, how do players play? Like, for some strange reason, I thought that players needed to like be in their actual positions, or at least needed to be, defenders on defense. And I tried to kind of shore up my defenders, like at least try to have 4 solid defenders on my squad early on. I gave up on that after about a month and a half, probably the latest, and just switched over to forwards. And typically would put like forward alumni like Boom Boom and Conacher and people like that. Conacher more than Boom Boom, but either way, just players that were generally slower, but had heavy shots compared to the defenders, whose base shot stats were fucking atrocious and had no business even bothering to come into the offensive third, other than to just be there to pass to somebody else. Or to keep the puck from being keeping the puck in the zone, essentially. So like that would be one super easy first thing that I would think off the top of my head that I would do differently. But there's a lot, and I don't know why I'm even talking about that. I don't know what that has to do with anything or this particular card here. Yeah, I have no idea how or why I got into that. But, I mean, I think I was saying that there's a lot of things I would do differently given what I know now, but yeah, but that anybody could say that and it doesn't really matter. So, but given that situation, if you were to give me the choice at that time between what we did get and what was on offer for the pre-order of the Ultimate Edition, which is what I got, which was two packs per week for what was supposed to be like X number of weeks. I don't know if it was whatever it was, 20, 30, 40 weeks. It wasn't 40, so it would have been probably 20, I guess, because it ended in like around January. So 20 weeks of because that's what it was, because it was 40 packs total. So 20 weeks, 2 packs per week. What they gave us was just standard gold packs. And the first 2 weeks, maybe, you could say like 2.5 weeks, even though you didn't get the next one until the 3rd week. So whether you want to say it was good for 2 weeks, it was good for 3 weeks, depends on your play. They were helpful. We'll say that at a minimum they were helpful for sure. After that, they turned into being not as helpful, and then not helpful, and then basically just atrocious, and you were just kind of hoping to get super lucky on a crazy good pull. And this card here would have been a crazy good pull at that time, partially because the alumni cards for almost the entirety of this game. I don't know exactly when it changed because I did take 2 months off. That ended about 2 months ago, so I guess whatever 4 or 5 months ago, around March or so, I stopped playing and played almost not at all for almost an entire 2 month period. Um, and so I don't know if it happened maybe right before I took that time off, when I took the time off, or soon after I came back. I definitely noticed it sometimes soon after I came back that suddenly in a variety of different packs, and even in gold rare player packs, the ones you can get from rerolls, as well as like a couple of other packs as well, you could suddenly get higher tier versions of the alumni cards, like this one. As I said, for almost the entirety of the game, you could not do that. If you ever pulled a Bernie Peren, however you like to say it, you got an 87 overall card. You got the base one. If you wanted to have a higher version of that card without paying for it in the marketplace, you could do the upgrade process. I don't know his specifics. It might have been, I don't know, as few as, was it 87? I mean, I don't know. It could have been like 5 gold collectibles. So you could take the 87, take 5 gold collectibles, and now you have an 88. Still not as good as this one. Basically just a linear -2 compared to this one, honestly. The synergies are all the same for the first 3 tiers. The legend version of the cards, almost all of them have different synergies than the alumni, with the goalies being some of the few exceptions to that. But point being, you didn't pull this. They weren't in packs. So there's that. So that's part of the reason why there aren't any base alumni cards that were part of the legend upgrade process. There were probably some that were just kind of, there were some like random, like alumni ones that came 90 plus. But as far as the base goes, Brett Hull, I think, was the highest position player at 88. Paul Coffey. Paul Coffey was an 89. So, I mean, you could say, like, it's 89, 90 is no difference. Well, there's a little bit of a difference, especially considering that his Legend 94, Paul Coffey's Legend 94, is like an exponentially better version of the card than the 87 alumni. And not everyone agreed with that idea throughout the course of the year, but they were basing that off of the cost factor in getting the legend. And so I would agree with them that they probably made the correct choice in terms of which one to keep on their team. The 87 was, or I'm sorry, the 89 alumni base alumni card for him was not that big of a deal as far as like the cost factor or how much you could convince somebody to pay you for it, even though it did go for decent value prior to them dumping every card on the market and turning all the legends into upgradable to 99 for much cheaper than the upgrade process of, like, for Bernie, turning him into his 90, I don't know what it is, 90, 93, I think, overall legend card. It's you could buy the legend card for way less than taking just even this card alone, not even doing the first 2, because now I have this, so I don't need the first 2. I have a bunch of the 87s and, like, I think 3 untradeable, so I thought maybe I would do the upgrade at some point. But now that I have this one, unless I were to sell it, and I don't think I'd get much value for it in the marketplace, people generally aren't really like doing a search for that. So unless they like had like just a general search on for Bernie and happened to notice that one of the things that popped up in the search results was a 90 and it was relatively cheap, compared to everything else, and then decide to buy it, then okay. But of the 12 of us that are still playing this game, like how many people are actually going to notice that unless I leave it up there for like 3 days or something. So again, I don't think I'm going to get anything from this if I try to sell it. So maybe I decide to put this together with whatever it is. I'd imagine it's at least one carbon collectible, and if it's a carbon and plus 5 gold, or if it's 2 carbon, and God forbid if it was 3 carbon, then I'm not doing it. But I may, just for like shits and giggles, I guess, turn it into a legend, and then go into the marketplace at the moment and realize that like I couldn't even sell the legend version of this for probably more than 40,000 coins, which is crazy. And then the 99 legend upgrade version probably, is hopefully at least over 100k coins for those people that are trying to get some value from it. So hopefully that this is one of the best pulls that I've had in standard packs. The inform upgrades that have been in supposedly all forms of packs, including those gold packs, throughout the course of the year. Players that started, position players particularly, that started at 85 plus and got a fair amount of inform upgrades throughout the year. They had 90s and 90 pluses that were out there pretty early on, like month, 2 months in, you were starting to see some of those. So it wasn't like they weren't in packs ever, and it wasn't like it was completely impossible to pull them. I just personally didn't get a lot of them, is I guess part of what I'm saying. So this is top 10, but it's not the best. It's not top 1. It's not even probably top 3. But it's still pretty good. So I felt like pointing that out, that I pulled this as a result of losing 5 games in the latest season of Hut Champs, and I've got some other cards that I can potentially do for some rerolls and try to get something that I can actually use, because I'm not gonna use this card. Like the current this version of the card, I'm not gonna have on the team. And I don't even think, because I've looked at the 99 overall free agency card. If you gave me the free agency card for free, didn't cost me anything. I didn't even have to give a shout out for it. I don't know. I guess I'd consider using it, because I don't have a 99 as my starter. And all the 99 free agency goalies all have, with one exception, all have the exact same synergies, and they are the 5 team-based synergies, and they're all +2 for those team-based synergies. So that is pretty solid, but that means that like my 93 overall Keith Kincaid has the same synergies as the 99 overall Bernie free agency card has. So as far as synergies go, there'd be no real difference between having either of those two as either my starter or my goalie. I think, Bernie probably more than Billy Smith, because they're in the same exact spot as far as overall ratings are concerned. I think that I would probably consider Bernie before Billy Smith, just because Bernie is hybrid and Smith is stand-up, but also because this 90 overall Bernie has an aggression rating of 90, and I think that his 99 has an aggression of basically 99, and that's a crazy high aggression. And if I recall correctly, the Smith is basically in line with that as well. So that's effectively the opposite of how I tend to try to play, which is part of the reason why I like the Kincaid as much as I do. He's got a super low aggression trait. It's not a stat. It's not a rating. It's a trait. So he's just by nature not aggressive. He'll stay in net more. He won't try to not just come out to the dots, but like find his way to to the center line and try to like start playing as if he's a position player or some shit, which is what some of these old school guys and a couple of the current players will do as well. But the main difference, I think, why I would go with Bernie over Billy, and I don't remember Billy Smith's exact height and weight, and or even handedness. But the major thing there is just in the play style, the hybrid, for me being a little bit better than stand up, and I think I can go back and forth between whether I prefer hybrid or just pure butterfly, and a lot of times I would tend to go with butterfly over hybrid. So I'm literally doing this exact thing in my my game theory course at the moment of rank order and stuff like that. So it'd be like I have what's referred to as a weak preference or higher rank for butterfly over hybrid, a weak one that's almost non-existent, almost indifferent between the two. But I have a strong preference for each of those compared to stand-up. So I would prefer butterfly over stand-up, and I'd prefer hybrid over stand-up. But I have a weak indifference at the moment between hybrid and butterfly, and I would take into account a lot of other factors to determine if I had two cards that were basically exactly the same, one playing hybrid, one playing butterfly. It'd be mostly indifference on my part on which one I would choose. This 90 overall Parent has a 91 rating on 5-hole, and on top of that, would mean that he's got basically max rating on the 99 for rebound control and shot recovery and positioning and vision and poise and all the rest of it too. So he's going to be, so just off of these stats, glove high, stick low, breakaway, poke check, passing, technically endurance are the only things that are kind of going to be less than max. Speed, rebound control, and speed and rebound control are going to be technically a -1. They're going to be 98s instead of 99s, and that can be mostly negligible if you believe that all of these underlying stats or traits or characteristics or attributes actually matter. But for sure, for me at least, 5-hole matters. And so the fact that Billy Smith's 5-hole rating, in my opinion, even on the 99, is basically garbage. You toss that into the fact that he's playing stand-up, which is part of the reason why his 5-hole is terrible, and package that in with a super high aggression rating, which again, Bernie has super high aggression as well. It's just not really the play style that I would be looking for. So again, if you want to just give me both of those 99 overall free agency goalies for nothing, not even a shout out, I will take them. But I probably wouldn't play a game or more than one game trying it out with both of them on my team at the same time. I would probably make them my backup and just take the advantage of the synergy the same way that I would with literally any other free agent goalie, because again, they have the exact same synergies, and who you have in the backup for most of the year hasn't really mattered unless you opt to do goalie swaps or something like that during the course of the game. These guys, regardless of the fact that the 99 Parent is going to have a 99 durability rating, the goalies, for the most part, don't really get hurt in games. I think I might have seen that like once, and that was just from like a concussion protocol type of thing. It looked like they took one too hard, and maybe that was because it was Johnny Bauer and he wasn't wearing a mask. I don't know if the developers built that much specificity into the actual mechanics of the gameplay, but they probably should have. It would be cool if they did. They're probably getting a little bit of trouble with the league if they did, though. So either way, good card, good pull. I'm not, I've been kind of super annoyed with some of the stuff that's come out of Platinum Player Packs and other things that you would expect some decent results out of. The fact that this is here and this is just one step, very costly, but one step away from a legend. And yes, that legend is now worth next to nothing. And even upgrading that legend with a bunch of expensive draft collectible cards, if you want to call them that, is not worth it. It's cool. I'm going to take it. So I actually started this broadcast because I wanted to talk about something other than just the card. And now I don't even really know what that was, and I don't think I even really care. So I'm going to go ahead and toss these all into my collection. And wondering how I dropped to an overall 95. I mean, I know I didn't put... I know I took Barkov off, but who else did I... And you see there, like, I wasn't lying. The top 6 are all 99s. And I like Comfer, and he plays like a 99, so I kind of like him to stay in there in the third line. Otherwise, I'd have 3 levels of 99. I think Nieuwendyk was in there. Leno was on defense. Oh, well, there you go. Thanks for me being stupid and not understanding. Yeah, my team is a 97. If you want it, I think I have to play a game today though. All right, fuck it. For the not for the lulz, but for the broadcast. Let's see. Okay, I can put it up for. We can't do 2 hours on these, can we? I was considering trying to get rid of a card. I'm not even going to bother to look to see what he is or is not currently selling at. So I can't do 2 hours. If I do 3, that might, at least it'll still be up, I guess, when the reset goes. So this card is up there for a reset. If you see this this broadcast when I'm done, I'm going to end it like basically right now. So if you catch this, if you want the iFollow, here's in my opinion, a pretty decent price for it. To borderline rip me off and only go with the starting price, knowing that somebody's probably not going to try to outbid you. But whether you get it for 90 or 100K, I think it's decent value. You at times can find it for less. I'll be honest, it's not the lowest out there, but you saw where he's playing. I have him playing my frontline left defense position. So I like the card. I just, I had other choices that I would prefer to have instead for a little bit more than the coins that I'm looking for on this. So that explains my rationale. Like, I know I can sell this for 70, 75, maybe even 80. I don't really want to, though, because for me, 10, 20K coins is kind of huge at this point. There's very few things that I can do in game to get coins, and I don't really have anything in terms of tradable cards that I actually am willing to trade. Like, even this one is a bit of a stretch for me. Plays really well for me on defense, 95 overall. It's not a bad card. His stature and his play is not bad. But I have a couple of cards, both in a price range slightly higher than this, that I would really like to add to my team before I call it quits for the year, just as like a peace of mind kind of thing. So I've put it up a few times at this price, and obviously nobody's bought it. So I'll put it up there so it'll be listed when the reset goes off. Maybe somebody will choose to buy it. If you see this, if you want the card, you can get it at that value. I understand that if you choose to pay my price, that might be just almost charity on your point of being willing to give me potentially an extra 5-10K than compared to what you'd probably get from somebody else at that exact moment, simply because you love these broadcasts that I do to an audience of technically no one, zero, even though whoever Smith is came in for a minute during this one. But it's out there. I'll put it out there. Feel free to pick it up if you'd like. I am indifferent to whether I have this or not. I have no problem whatsoever if he ends up on my final squad, and not from selling it now and then buying it again when it goes cheaper in the future. Meaning like this current version that I have, this exact card, not a different version of this exact same card from someone else or whatever, or buying it back even from the same person that I sell it to, because that's technically possible. Just if he's on the team now and he's on the team in the end, that's fine. He plays fine, it's fine. Or if people give me the coins, that's fine, assuming that I can take those coins plus the little extra that I got sitting out there. I got about 30K, I believe, and I can probably get a little bit more. There's a few 2K, what did they call them? They weren't the progression ones. There's a few offline challenges that I never did because they didn't have stars on them, and I wasn't like super obsessed with the coins. Plus the very first one that you do, it's 2,000 coins for a 4-minute period game, and I honestly couldn't be bothered to spend that much time to only get 2,000 coins, even though I rarely ever had more than 10,000 in my bankroll. So it sounds strange to say, but that was part of the thing. But also part of the thing was it wasn't until I had this either end game or near end game squad that I actually had any chance at all in being able to compete in even Division 4 or lower, not in online seasons, but again in the offline versus CPU challenges that start at Division 10. You play 10 games there, moves down Division 9, 8, 7, all the way down to 1. They're all 10 games in each one of those divisions. The final game, you get something, not coins, but it's not great. Like, I haven't completed Division 2 yet. When I do, assuming I do, because I'm relatively close, if I bother to play anymore, I'd get 1 gold common player card. No joke, that's what you get. And then Division 1, you beat all 10 of those games. It's mostly the coins that you get from the 9 games. The first one probably starts around like 2,500, 2,750 coins. The final one's probably not much more than 3,500 though. So it's very likely less than 30,000 total coins that you get from those 9 games, and they're tough games for me because again I'm terrible at the game, and it doesn't matter that I'm playing with a very boss team at the moment. And then the very final game, if you can beat the Capitals in Division 1 on Superstar in a 4-minute game where it's just win or lose, win or not, it's binary, you get 1 gold rare player card. I think. No, sorry. I think it's actually potentially worse. I think it's just a gold pack that you get. I think it's the only pack that you get from those. Or maybe the earlier ones gave like bronze and silver packs. Actually, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about because I haven't looked at it in a while. In my opinion, I feel like those are not tremendous rewards. I could understand how someone who maybe, did a no C's 12 supposedly saying in the first 10 days before the game launched, managed to grind every single offline challenge, and then complains to us that he did that before the game started up and had the under the objectives and milestones, the progression-based objectives, that most of which he had effectively already completed in offline mode, and therefore wasn't going to go back and redo. He wasn't going to score another 1,000,000 goals just for the progression objectives, even though all of the games that he's played online for content for his channel, he probably has scored 1 million goals since then. But whatever. It is what it is. He made the statement. I'll take him at his word. So yeah, for somebody who maybe did that at the very beginning of the game, having some of those things might have provided some sort of value, I guess. But like in August, nah, fuck that. In August, the gold pack is like, I don't care if I have it or not. Like in the competitive seasons, not the hut champs, where I feel like the rewards are better and you don't have to qualify. All things that I wish I knew earlier on in the year, but I would have been playing against a much larger player pool and been generally probably better players with a much worse team. And when I was not even as good as I am now, which is currently terrible, so I probably wouldn't have. I would have got whatever like the lowest thing was that you could qualify for, but that would have been better than nothing. And early on, it would have been valuable. Like even if it was like a gold pack for a little while, that would have been somewhat valuable. If it was a mini version of whatever the current special pack was, and a gold pack on top of that, yeah, that's better than nothing. So anyways, I'm just gonna list this and I'm gonna end the broadcast. What the fuck? Did I just break the game? I don't know what that's all about. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna go over now and play some MLB once I get some things together here in a minute. So feel free to come on over there.